Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty safe to say that today is, in fact, Judgment Day, because boy, oh boy, we've gotten an official response from Kuro Games regarding the mass DMCA takedown disaster that has struck the Wuthering Wave space, and the response over here is so phenomenal. I believe that this is a post that might actually be more popular than Hiyuki's drip marketing. They've gone ahead and they've actually copy and pasted this post onto YouTube as well, so we can do like a quick analysis. Okay, no, never mind. I don't know what I was smoking to think that. But this has over 5,000 likes on YouTube, 337 comments, and then when you go ahead and look at Twitter, that thing's at 18K, 1 million views, 4K retweets. What? You already know that this shit is popping off. So why don't we go ahead? Why do we see what Kuro is spitting over here? Because one thing that's very fair to say is that Wuthering Waves has been under attack in numerous situations where multiple fan arts for the game, innocent looking ones, right, that are simply portraying the characters, you know, and just showing off their creativity as artists, they have been falsely DMCA claimed by Kuro Games, somebody impersonating them, and the end result is not looking good. So let's see the response. We have recently identified instances of malicious reporting and the removal of Wuthering Waves fan-created content on X under the official name of Wuthering Waves. That's literally impersonation of a official company, like the copyright holder. That's breaking the law. We would like to clarify that Wuthering Waves has neither authorized nor participated in any reporting activities related to fan creations. We have gathered the necessary evidence and will submit it to X, requesting a thorough review of the reports to prevent similar incidents in the future. We will take all appropriate legal and reasonable measures to protect our rights and address any infringement or reputational harm caused by such fraudulent actions. So this is basically what's going on over here. Kuro Games has ran their own investigation on what's been going on in this situation, probably not hired, they already had them, engaged their legal team to gather various pieces of glue. Now they're submitting it to X on behalf of all of these creators, right, who have naturally gotten their shit rocked. Because one of the unfortunate circumstances regarding false DMCA claims is, well, this. Let me show you what one of the actual consequences of this bullshit is. To combat this yourself as a creator, and of course not get the help of the company, this is what you have to do. You have to dox yourself. If you're trying to deal with a false DMCA notification yourself, giving your full name, your street address, your city, your state, province, your postal code, your country. You have to give them your full personal information. And when you know that these individuals are already committing crimes in the first place to take your shit down, do you feel very safe giving a literal criminal your identifying information? Probably not. I think that Kuro Games, I think their lawyers are fully aware of the massive scope of what's happening over here. This is quite literally an attempt to silence creators that are showing support for the game through these fan arts. And the craziest part of the situation is, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's happened so many times already. This is a post over here that's indicating 2 instances where this shit has occurred. And well, there have been previous posts indicating that, yes, guys, it's already happened a 3rd time over here with this fan art, and the OG, the one that really, you know, broke news in the first place, this one. And naturally, that one got removed as well. And so the nastiest part of this situation is the fact that one thing is very clear. People have started weaponizing, people have started abusing, and people have started a new meta when it comes to silencing creators. And that is the use of copyright strikes, DMCA takedowns to, instead of addressing their content or responding to it, right, they're just trying to delete it from the internet. And naturally, right, when this is the main resolution to this process, you either dox yourself or you spend hundreds in legal fees to file counter notifications. Well, boy, oh boy, you have to wonder, Who's the individual that set this spark off? I have a running theory. I've made a video or two about it before, but now that this situation is coming to a head and Kuro Games is running a very, very deep investigation and they're committing to further legal action, boy, oh boy, I think it's time for us to do our work as a Wuthering Wave CC and, you know, give our take on how we think the situation has originated. One thing that's very clear is that the whole copyright strike meta, the whole DMCA takedown tactics, they all originate from one point in recent memory. All you have to do is take a look at this video over here, the tragic downfall of Saint Career. In the description, it just reads, in this video, Mr. Pokey strikes. The details of the copyright strike. And when you go ahead and you look at the comment section, you see everything that's going on. You can see that there is a flowing amount of congratulations in the space. Celebrations. We have Captain Regrifterator over here talking about how Mr. Pokey zero cycled. If you're unfamiliar with what the term zero cycle is, it's when you take a very good meta team in Honkai Star Rail, employ meta tactics, and clear the endgame really, really, really quickly. That's the type of conversation that occurred in this comment section regarding a copyright strike to take down somebody's content. A lot of people celebrating it. Is this one of those game-changing extra turn E2? Honkai Star Rail is a turn-based game, and the ability to gain an extra turn essentially means that you're able to combat the endgame or whatever content you're facing a lot more effectively, right? And gain the ability to do that zero cycle, right? Because a cycle is the number of turns you take. Basically, this is like, you know, this is like blowing someone up instantly, like, you know, a one-shot KO. Meta breaking, overpowered, insane new tech. And you can just see throughout this comment section, right? All people are saying is that, like, go Pokey, go Pokey, go. Go Pokey, go Pokey, go. Look, like over here, he's truly employing the most meta strategies ever to handle this situation. What's clear is that the Hoyoverse community, or at least the Gacha community within HSR, they're really on board with this idea. They are really on board with this idea of striking people's content. And how is it that when it comes to DMCA takedowns, copyright claims, all of that, why is it that only Wuthering Waves creators are the ones getting targeted? Why only Wuthering Waves creators? Because a theory that's been floating around, shared by a resident person who lives in Japan over here, one of the dumbest CCs I've seen in the space. Let's listen to this. As someone considered to be on Kuro's side, I want to let everyone in the Hoyo community know that I and the majority of the Wuwa community do not blame Hoyoverse players for this. So why is it that only Wuthering Waves art is getting DMCA'd? If that was the case, because I've got an image over here, right, of a very, very, very popular art, because people like to run around with the theory that it's, you know, a certain group of incels on Twitter that hate Yuri, that hate yaoi, that basically just means gay and lesbian in Japanese. They hate art like that. Why is it that posts like these, then, are staying up? You can see all around on Hoyoverse Twitter, you're going to have plenty of art created by Hoyoverse artists, fan artists, not the official ones, right? That clearly display games. There's a reason why I'm showing a Honkai Star Rail one. Why is it that these aren't getting attacked? And it's only Wuthering Waves art that's getting attacked. Kinda leads you to believe, right? The community that celebrates DMCA takedowns, the community that celebrates creators getting struck, doesn't it kind of make sense that the community that knows all about this, that thinks this is the new meta strat, that thinks that this is the best way to tackle the end game, right? Now they're going ahead and they're only attacking Wuthering Waves artists. That's a little bit interesting, isn't it? That's a little bit weird, isn't it? Because you would imagine that if it truly was this Gacha Grail community over here, that's where a lot of the actual blame is going right now. And when you look at some of the responses over here, they've decided to the Gacha Grail community, they've decided to rally around this. You can see it's getting massively upvoted. This was obviously done by Yuri or Yaoi artists to victimize themselves. They always do the same. If that was the case, why aren't the Hoyoverse artists then getting attacked? Why is it that only Wuthering Waves artists are getting attacked? That kind of dispels that narrative completely. Because there's been another piece of evidence over here. You could tell Gacha Grail is starting to shake and shiver because they deleted posts about them making a Discord server to recruit people to harass Yuri and Yaoi artists. The screenshot is in my head. I wish I took an actual one. Don't worry, somebody did. Second round of applications are being accepted. Direct message me if you want to join the Gacha Grail Discord where we mass report. I'll let you finish the sentence in your head. I don't feel like saying that on stream. No minors, no women, no gays. At the bottom. Isn't it very, very interesting though that they're deleting these posts again and stuff like that? But I'll repeat it for like the 5th time. Only Wuthering Waves creators are getting attacked. And so people are implying that Gacha Grail, this incel organization, is doing widespan AoE attacks, right? For every single gacha in the space. That's the implication over here. But only Wuthering Waves is getting targeted. Maybe it's because it's actually just the Hoyoverse community. Because the Hoyoverse community is the only one that I've seen. And Mr. Pokey is one of HSR's, one of Hoyo's biggest CCs. The Hoyoverse community is the only one that I've seen actively celebrating striking people's content. It's the only one I've seen in this space for like within the past like 5 years that is seen celebrating, toasting, bragging about striking people's content. And when you know that Mr. Pokey's on the record in this video giving details on how to strike content, and the methods and the tactics that he took to do it, even uploading on his channel an informational video on exactly what you need to do and say to get it done. This is quite a sticky situation, isn't it? And isn't it even more odd that when you actually take a look at Mr. Pokey's channel now, knowing that the news is out there, that all of these strikes are happening, he's decided to make a massive pivot to a non-Hoyoverse game. He's now making a massive pivot to a non-Hoyoverse game, spamming content on Star Savior instead. Maybe to try to, like, paint the image. I don't know for certain. Maybe to try to, like, paint the image that he's, trying to detach himself from the Hoyo community. Maybe it's just because of a new game. Maybe he's trying to wash away his own sins. Who knows? Right? Nothing can be confirmed at this point, except the fact that we know for a fact the HSR, and by proxy the Hoyo community, really loves striking people. To the point where, in this comment section, you will have people begging for even more strikes. And guess what, guys? The begging worked. You can see over here, they're all about this shit. Let me show you something a little bit crazy. Look at a comment like this. And then look at the blatantly false DMCA takedown I got on one of my oldest videos. Yeah, one of my most popular videos ever. Top 10 mistakes new players make in 2025. Yeah, I received a blatantly false copyright strike within days of this video coming out. And of course, you can see in the comments section, multiple people begging people to strike me more. My video's back up. It's been up for like a couple of weeks now at this point. So I dealt with it because I have a lawyer. But you want to know what I would have had to do if I maybe couldn't afford a lawyer? Due to the massive influence that you're seeing over here, begging people to strike me, I received a false one. If I didn't have a lawyer though, guys, like imagine what oh, right, you don't have to imagine. I would have had to give a literal criminal who's impersonating somebody my personal information and dox myself. That would have been the solution if I wasn't willing to pay hundreds in legal fees to go take care of the matter. And boy, oh boy, isn't this a bit of a rough situation? When you now know for a fact the Hoyo community is the one that's likely responsible for this. And it's gone so far, and the attacks are so targeted. I think it's very fair to say, when only Wuthering Waves is being attacked, either Gacha Grail over here is being used as a scapegoat, Or Gacha Grail is just full of actual Hoyoverse players that are trying to make Wuthering Waves look bad. You want to know why? Because all we need to do is take a look at posts like this. I speak for all Wuthering Waves fans when I say we support the censorship of Yuri Yaoi artwork. I don't really buy that this is actually a Wuthering Waves player. All I genuinely think is that this is somebody who's like a covert ops agent for Hoyoverse, or the Hoyo Show community, that is trying to make Wuthering Waves look bad by posing as one of the biggest retards in the gacha space. And when you know that this level of astroturfing is occurring to such a high fucking degree, I genuinely think that this is just an actual community of Hoyoverse players, because that would explain why they're turning to DMCA strikes, because one of Hoyoverse's biggest CCs is advertising them as a new meta strategy. And these attacks are all occurring within a month of this video being posted. A whole month of this video being posted. And where does the timing seem to line up, guys? Where does the timing seem to line up? Oh, right before the anniversary. Right as we're getting to the drip. Actually, I think these attacks occurred literally 1 or 2 days before Hiyuki's drip marketing dropped. Guess what people would likely do after seeing this drip marketing, guys? Make fan art of Hiyuki to further advertise her design, the game, so on and so forth. What do you think these artists aren't going to do now? They aren't going to make Wuthering Waves content, right? Because they're scared of their account getting deleted from having too many DMCA takedowns. They have effectively been silenced. They're no longer allowed to make art, and a new drip marketing for a new unit just came out. This is the time for artists to be making art for the character. You can kind of see the tactics that are taking fold, right? And do you know how unpopular I am in the Gacha Grail community? I get posts made about me almost every other week in this community. They're trying to like shit on my videos, mass brigade them, do all of that stuff. So the community that's known for mass brigading me takes on the meta tactics, utilizes the meta tactics of a creator who has publicly farmed the strike that they performed on me across multiple videos. So now my hate watchers, known for brigading my stuff, are now employing the tactics of the person who's directly gone after my channel. And the tactics are only getting employed against other Wuthering Waves content creators. It's kind of interesting what's going on, right? It's kind of interesting the timeline that's getting painted over here. And naturally, right, I've been making sure to be very careful to only state objective facts regarding this situation, and of course, building some assumptions off of those. Like I said, nothing here is confirmed to be a direct linkage, but man, oh man, if this is all just a bunch of coincidences, and this has nothing at all, right, to do with this, that would be a pretty massive fucking coincidence, right? And who knows where this could lead, right? Who knows where the next steps are in regards to this entire legal investigation, legal debacle that Kuro Games is up to. But one thing is abundantly clear after all of this, right? This attack looks targeted. Only Wuthering Waves creators, they're the only ones that have gotten falsely striked. It's 5 so far, including myself. And we haven't seen news about a single Hoyoverse creator that has had anything even close to similar happening to them. And when you know that this comment section over here on Mr. Pokey's channel is promoting that more creators receive strikes under these circumstances, man, a lot of the blame looks like it looks like it can be directly allocated to this community over here. Because there's just been too much public stuff posted, too many instructions given, too many step-by-step processes on how to get stuff like this done on your end. Yeah, I think there's been a little bit too much to deny any linkage at all. But this is the good news. Like I mentioned, there's been an overwhelming amount of support for the actions that Kuro Games is taking right now. All you need to do is, like, it jumped up by another 1,000 while we've been recording this video. Another fucking 1,000. Thank you for your continued support of Wuthering Waves. We remain committed to supporting the community in creating and sharing fan content. If you encounter any further malicious actions that infringe upon the rights of creators, and this is the thing, I think that this is just an open invitation from Kuro Games, because I think they kind of understand. They aren't saying just on X, they're saying on YouTube. And this basically means that Kuro is on the lookout for even more bullshit that's going to occur, because I think they understand that the Hoyoverse community is directly linked to this. Ain't your copyright different from this situation? Oh, you mean this one where somebody impersonated an artist and used that to falsely take down my video? And so I submitted a counter notification because that person wasn't real, and then my video is reinstated after 10 days? You mean that one? Oh, you just didn't look at this part, right? Oh, you just didn't look at this part, right? Yeah, low IQ question. Maybe try a little bit better next time. And proof that this guy is an HSR player? Don't even try to enter the fandom, Gacha Grail, right? With these delusional takes. This is not your fandom, not your games. You are not welcome in our fandoms. We are just in the process of cleaning the HSR fandom, so don't even try to enter woo-wah. Oh, are you? Because if you were, you know, walking the walk and doing the talk, wouldn't there be Hoyoverse players getting, or Hoyoverse fan artists getting falsely DMCA takedowns as well? But there's not. It's only Wuthering Waves ones. Looks like Astraturfing. Looks like Hoyoverse is literally doing all of this. Why don't we revisit our resident retard from Japan and continue reading this? I've seen comments like these several times, so I want to say that even though we still don't know for 100% certainty who it was that filed the false DMCA strikes, I'm very confident it wasn't anyone from the Hoyo community. Oh, okay, Ryuku. That's an incredible take when only Wuthering Waves artists are the ones getting claimed. And even though these members of this community have openly admitted that they're cleaning up all fandoms, only Wuthering Waves is the one getting attacked. And the attack is happening right before Prime fan art season. Man, this guy really is dumb. He doesn't really think very much before he makes statements like this. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know he's a teacher IRL. I feel bad for the students. Anyone trying to turn this into Kuro versus Hoyo hate isn't a serious person and should be shunned out of the community, because only knuckle-headed tribalists would say something that stupid. I guess he just doesn't look at any, like, I guess he can't understand the idea of correlation. Correlation isn't causation, but investigating correlation is one of the first steps to establishing causation. Yes, people look into a correlation and then from there, usually find causation. That's how investigations, glue gathering, research, that's how it works. And guess what, Ryuku Dumbo Sensei? There's a lot of correlation over here between the Hoyoverse community celebrating and actively wishing for the strikes on other Wuthering Waves content creators. There's a massive correlation of that. And guess what? We now have Wuthering Waves only content creators getting struck. And so people can naturally make correlation that it might be Hoyoverse. And that's why Woo-Wah themselves, Kuro Games, is digging deeper to find the truth. Even going so far as to say, not just on X, on YouTube as well. So it's all platforms. Anyone receiving strikes, anyone receiving takedowns, anywhere, reach out to Wuthering Waves EN support. We will do our utmost to assist you. Guys, that might actually mean that Kuro Games is willing to submit counter notifications or whatever on your behalf. That's what I imagine is actually going on. Kuro is deciding to, like, pay the legal bills to, A, get all this content back, or get all this content back up on behalf of the artist, which is what I imagine is probably happening. Or that's what I would hope is happening. Or they just invalidate the claims overall, which serves the same purpose. Either way, they're paying money to get this handled. And I'm pretty sure when it comes to shelling out cash like this and legal fees, they're going to find some way to get it back. Yeah, they're going to probably find some way to get it back. And boy, oh boy, I would find it quite poetic if the actions taken over here do end up having some degree of liability. I think the term might actually be, is it like reckless endangerment? I don't know, something like that. Gross negligence. I'm not a lawyer, so don't take what I say as any sort of like legal implication, but those are words and those are descriptions that might be relevant to the situation. Who knows? Now let's wrap this one up. Some bad actors in the anti-woo-wah side seize the opportunity to dunk on Kuro after it happens, but they likely aren't the ones that made the strikes. Notice how Ryuku over here, retard sensei, Ryuku retard, retard sensei over here is just saying, it can't be Hoyoverse. It can't be. Here's my reason for why. Because it's not. Notice how he just repeatedly keeps saying over and over again that it probably isn't Hoyoverse. It's not likely Hoyoverse. And there's not a single... I'm very confident it wasn't. People that think it is, they're just dumb. But they aren't the ones that... Where is any of the reasoning? He just keeps repeatedly saying over and over that it can't be Hoyoverse players. All we have is proof that Hoyo is closely associated with DMCA takedowns and strikes. All he's saying is, just trust me, bro, it can't be them. I'm just gonna say, just trust me, bro, it can't be them. 3 fucking times in this paragraph. Actual 5-year-old infant logic, loser mentality, bozo behavior. I've had enough of these people turning everything into tribalism, always shifting blame to the other side, refusing accountability, and we need to get past that. He just doesn't cite anything, bro. Bro is just out here being like fucking just writing. He's just writing, bro. He's not thinking. He's just writing. It's insane. And we've also got another follow-up response from this dog over here. Ryuko apparently decided to subtweet me as well. It's obviously, in quotes, that community. They are not discreet. I'm 95% sure it is too, but without concrete proof, it's hard to say for certain. So now he's gonna say, well, without proof, it can't be certain. But without proof, I know it wasn't Hoyoverse. All there is right now is proof that the Hoyoverse community is likely the one that was involved. That's the only kind of proof that's out there currently, and if there's more, please let me know. And the proof is that the Hoyoverse community is very closely correlated to DMCA takedowns and strikes. But now he's just saying, oh boy, guys. It's hard to say for certain without proof, but I'll exonerate the Hoyo community without any proof at all, though. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And I guess we have even more proof over here. I think somebody just posted a link. Proving once again that every Yuri Yaoi ship is done out of spite. Thank God everyone in HSR is confirmed straight and not abused. Another Rover account glazing Hoyoverse. That's really, really, really interesting, isn't it? The same... Yeah, these guys are totally not Astraturfing as woo-wah players as a part of the Hoyo community. Yeah, that's totally not happening, guys. Yeah, we totally aren't bringing any proof into the discussion over here, right? I've seen a certain CC, Ryuku's talking about me, he refuses to say my name because he's the biggest pussy in the space, argue that they're a part of the Hoyo community, to which is batshit insane. I think this guy's just actually retarded. Yo, Katarisa Cameo, appreciate the raid. Just in time to see us, well, look at probably the stupidest creator I've ever seen. When they're referring to that community, they're talking about Gacha Grail. When he's referring to a certain CC, he's talking about me. And now he's calling the take batshit insane when there's only posts like this everywhere in Gacha Grail. People with Rover profile pictures, Rover name accounts, glazing HSR, glazing Hoyoverse, glazing Genshin, glazing all of that. How do you call that batshit insane? Who knows? They often claim to be the target audience for woo-wah specifically, but no community claims them. Kind of like you and your... Sorry, I was about to say kind of like you in Japan, but that would be a little bit offensive, wouldn't it? Anyways, there's been even more responses over here by Ryuku as well. And this directly addresses the Poki situation. Honestly, you shouldn't need to censor his name, clearly talking about me still. Also pointing out, Saint just made a video insinuating this DMCA strikes happened because it's indirectly or indirectly Mr. Poki's fault. That's not what I said. I think indirectly is definitely the right term to use. I'm not sure how he's not exactly sure which one because they kind of mean two incredibly different things. This is like saying something is hot/cold when describing a drink. It's a hot and cold drink at the same time. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So, yeah, definitely indirectly. Due to all of the logic that we just talked about before, there's definitely a correlation. Yeah, he basically said that Poki is the reason it started. That it's his fault because of his DMCA claim against Saint, which is ridiculous. That's not what I said in the video, which is just kind of like further proof that Ryuku is one of the most mentally disabled individuals that happens to have access to OBS and a webcam. And unfortunately, you're seeing the incredible consequences of a mental state and mental degeneration associated with being a fucking dumbass. Not only that, it's also incredibly ironic because he was also crying about... now he's just over here getting butthurt about Jeffrey Epstein. So we're just going to move on from that one. What's obviously happening over here is that the narrative is getting twisted even further and further because these individuals are desperately looking for some sort of way to exonerate what happened over here. And it's unfortunate that they're deciding to go this far. To wrap this entire thing up, Kuro Games has taken action. And I think the most important part is that Kuro Games is basically extending. They're creating a Syntony field. They created a Stella realm for the entire Wuthering Waves community, giving everybody interruption resistance, healing, all of that, because they're directly offering their support to every single Wuthering Waves creator on virtually every single platform when it comes to this absolute fucking bullshit attack that's been occurring. And I'm very sure that they're going to conduct even further investigations, contact local authorities, all of that stuff, maybe even go internationally to find out where the root cause of this situation is coming from, and then, of course, nip it in the bud. Because boy, oh boy, I think there are going to be some long-standing implications, long-standing consequences from this, and that's what happens when you open Pokey's box. Sorry, I mean Pandora's box, but, you know, they both start with Pia. Just a bit of a misspeak over there. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.